Good morning, everybody. It's time for the experience live with Russ and Scott. Here we go. Big thank you to H&R Block of Albany, Corvallis, Lebanon, and Salem for their sponsorship of the experience live with Russ and Scott. Wait, there's another sponsor? And special thanks also to our other sponsor, the Gillot Home team of Keller Williams and Laura Gillot. Thank you so much for sponsoring the experience live with Russ and Scott. It's almost time. Good morning. Hey, that's good. Right off the bat.
There we go. Gotta get a sip here.
I have mine too. There we go. The merch. I'm even wearing
Gateway and Prince. I tell you.
That's it. Yeah, and I've even got my. There you go. I got my experience live with Russ and Scott shirt on this morning. We're upscale, moving up. It's an exciting morning. Woohoo!
Yeah. Hey, and Christmas is coming. People need the perfect gift. I'm just saying.
Just saying. That's it.
Hey,
live with Russ and Scott.
Last time we spoke with our hero, I was hurtling down I-5 safely in the passenger seat, doing the experience live from the car. But what, Russ, have you got going on? And I'll take a look at the chat here.
Well, I'm super excited. We're trying to get all of our guests in the green room. And so I think we're clarifying links this morning. So I know
I'm sending a link over right now.
There you go. And making sure that's all good. Very good. All right. This is like live on the fly. So we're good. Anyway, okay. So I've got so much going on. In fact, our first guest, Raquel Borras, has got a ton going on as well. She's jumping on the Tim and Jim show right after us this morning. Right after her, I leapfrog onto Be Strong 99 with Usama in Cyprus. And then at noon Pacific Daylight Time today, we have Russ Reels with some author chat. So super busy day today. It's going to be a lot of fun, lots of good things going on. I'm just really excited about the opportunity to be with you, Scott, and talk to wonderful people like Raquel and Justin when he's able to make it. So that's.
Well, I tell you, it's as we were before the show when we were in the green room there, reminding you that Raquel changed the show forever when she was a guest host, and I think you've got that little moment that has come up, and it was all because of Raquel.
Yes, it was.
Right. I tell you what, that was so much fun. I'm glad that we have Raquel back today. And yeah, I just got back. I was in Nashville. I was at the live event for Iron Sharpens Iron Mastermind. We do that twice a year in the spring and in the fall. And I tell you what, it's an outstanding time. And just connecting up with those guys. And one of the things that was interesting is that a good friend of mine there, Andrew Weiss, and his girlfriend will be she will be sharing the stage with our guest, who is Prince Charming. So Celicia Thomas will be sharing the stage there. So lots of opportunities. This is going to be a great show. I do want to share with people, go to Amazon, because my book out there, the publication, Relationships Grow Your Business. When I came back, I flew back to Oregon on Monday, and yesterday, all through referrals, and Relationships Grow Your Business is a system that I use to grow businesses, and I use it personally. I came back, I signed 3 new clients yesterday, all because of referrals and from my network. And I don't want anyone else to miss out. So you've got to share those things. But as we move into our guest, what does it take to be on all of these shows, Russ, that you are on, and all of these other live broadcasts? I will tell you, it takes unshakable confidence. And I think we're going to learn that this very day.
It takes great personality, like our first guest, Raquel Borras, who's in the house. Miss Personality. You know, when I first met you, Raquel, I thought, what a wonderful, sparkling person. What a wonderful person. I mean, you're just such a delight to talk to.
Thanks.
It's true.
I'm still laughing over Kermit. I love that I brought Kermit to your show.
Yes,
you know,
we need more of Kermit.
I was staging that, and you know, because without Russ's energy, I needed a little assist, and I couldn't think of a better partner that exemplified you, Raquel. So thank you for being who you are.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. When I first told Scott, I said, well, you know, I'm gonna need a guest host for that day, and I'm not sure if Raquel will do it because she is so famous and she is such a big, spotlight. But we'll try. We'll pray and try that she'll do it. So I appreciate you filling in. You do a much better job than I do. So there you go. I mean,
well, hey, go ahead, because we were just talking about unshakable confidence.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And you know what? I'm going to shake things up a little bit this morning. We're going to bring our other guest in right off the bat. So we're all together.
I miss him.
Because he's hanging out. Justin's hanging out in the green room. Here he comes, the man.
Hey. I haven't seen you.
I know I haven't seen you.
This morning, Justin, because I was like, I finally get to freaking see my friend and talk to him.
I know, it's wild. I was just down in Washington doing a gala, singing at a gala for the Shakespeare Theater Center. And I'm going back down there, and I know that's one of Raquel's haunts down there. It's her home, and so I can't wait to get down there. And we should go out and grab some lunch.
I know. Don't worry. I texted Chuck. I was like,
Yeah. So this is great. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm glad Raquel has her coffee because I know I got mine too. It's early on the West Coast.
Yeah, you got to start the day right.
Absolutely.
We're gonna have to get you, Justin, one of the Experience Live with Russ and Scott mugs, obviously.
Well,
I like how he said Justin.
What?
Yeah, that's right.
What am I?
We're gonna send you the. Raquel, we're gonna give you the Kermit video.
Yes, for sure. There we go.
Justin, we are so glad to have you on the Experience Live with Russ and Scott. Thank you for taking I know your schedule is busy. We were just talking about unshakable confidence because I don't know. Why don't we have you tell people about what's going on in your life, because
Wow.
man, I'm just looking at
Yeah.
this and I'm thinking this guy is busy. And I
How
was
much
just
time we
saying
got?
beforehand that you were going to share the stage with a friend of mine's girlfriend. You are Prince Charming. Celicia Thomas will be sharing the stage with you.
Oh,
You got a
Celicia.
ton of stuff going on.
Yeah, no, I'm very fortunate that the entertainment business has come back in a huge way, and hopefully with the safety measures in place, everything will stay open. But yeah, it's been an exciting, interesting, wonderful run of 18 months for me. Raquel's been a part of that in terms of figuring out like which way do we go, and so. I have learned the hard way, like many of us did in 2020, that there were weaknesses in my game. And what I mean by like, I think of the game of life, and I love to see it as a game as opposed to the drudgery it sometimes can be. If you break it down into 4 major quadrants of your body, your spirituality, your relationships, and your business, right? Body really could then be broken down into how you exercise, what you eat. Spirituality is whether that's prayer, meditation, journaling. Relationships, whether that's your significant other, your children, your family, and then your business, which I know we really love to focus on here on LinkedIn, which is the making, the keeping, the growing, and the giving of money. And so, in that sense, I realized in 2020, as many of us did, again, that there were weaknesses all across the board for me. And they were really exposed in the money game for me and the business game for me, because I realized I knew this, right? But as an actor, as an entertainer, as a performer, I recognized that I was solely dependent on someone else to give me a job. Right now, I have great jobs. I get to do really cool things on TV. I get to do really cool things on stage. But at the end of the day, as you'll learn if you read Cash Flow Quadrant, the old banger by Robert Kiyosaki, as employees, no matter what business you're in, as an employee, you are being paid pennies on the dollar in comparison to the people who own the company, or even at times run the company. And so, not to labor on that point, but that was a weakness that I experienced in my game of business. And that was what led me to begin to really delve into, okay, what is it that I know really well how to do, and what's a big problem that I see many people in business having, which is confidence, getting up on stage, being able to deliver a message clearly, to be able to clearly uncover the value of what it is that they have, so that it's worth more than the money in someone else's pocket, because that's sales. And I learned, like, oh my goodness, that's what sales is. Sales is not taking money from people, or like the, hey, you got a car sort of thing that we equate with salespeople. It's uncovering the value of something you have so clearly that the value of that thing is worth more than the money in someone else's pocket, which is why they will give it to you. And so when it comes to confidence, I learned a lot about what confidence is, what it's not, how to grow it. I learned the hard way how to destroy it much of the time, as many of us have. And I just have delved into that and weaved in the lessons that I've learned from the stage, from the entertainment industry, and brought those to bear in an industry where people have to get up on the stage, they have to sell, and they have to clearly communicate a message.
Well, it's interesting because you talk about confidence, and a lot of times that's just people's perception of themselves, their mindset, and how they approach the world. And I'm sure that you go over all those things and talk with them, but really a lot of times people have way more in them than they realize, that they really can build that unshakable confidence. And I know your good friend Raquel Borras has definitely filled with confidence. She's the star of every morning show today.
Every single one of them.
So Raquel, real quickly, tell us what's going on in your world, because we didn't give you a chance. Give us a little blip. What's happening?
Oh, no, it's okay. Just like Justin, I learned a lot about myself and business, and, the value I bring, and, I need to charge for it and all that. But that being said, reality also kicked in, and I'm going to be going back to a full-time job, still doing what I'm doing with Rock the Boat and Raqvision Youth Empowerment. But at the end of the day, I got to be able to provide my basic needs, which are to keep a roof over my head and food on the table. And, and I say it now, and I'm okay with it. I think before I would have been really kind of ashamed, if you will, or embarrassed to be like, yeah, I tried to go out on my own and it didn't work out as well as I planned it would. And that's okay. Like Justin talks about all the time, you got to fail to, fail back to fell forward or to move forward. Or what did you say, Justin? What was that quote?
Well, I say, and I'm certainly not the first person to
I know,
have said it, but yeah, it's failing forward, really.
Yeah.
And I love to say that everything you want in life is waiting for you on the other side of your willingness to fail and fail repeatedly.
Yeah.
That's actually a great John Maxwell quote. He's phenomenal. And he probably got it from somebody else too. I mean, but it's just, yeah, I mean, he's such a positive force in the world. And, that's the thing we all have to realize. And Raquel, when you bring it up, we all struggle and we all have to find our way. And I think it's a blessing that you're going to get to do this other job, but still bless everybody with the things you're currently doing, because that's impactful. I went through the same type of thing through the first year and a half of my business, having to find some larger clients to actually work with to fill those gaps, because a lot of the stuff you do like this is not a big paying gig. And so that's why, we have fun, we love it, but we got
a Kermit video out of it.
Yeah.
Well, you can definitely do that, and that's always a positive. There you go.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing too, is also because of all of it, I've built even more confidence in myself. Right. So negotiating with this current company, I'm like more confident about like, this is what I want to do. These are my needs. This is what, all of those things. And they're willing to essentially give those to me because of the confidence of like, hey, I know I can do this. And so that's helped me a lot too. Cause I think if it were a year ago, it'd be a different story. I think it'd be more like out of desperation, where now I'm like, no, I know the value I bring. So I know I could find something else if this doesn't work out. So that's been great.
Confidence.
Yeah.
Confidence is so important. There's research that says, they said attractive people are more successful. And I thought, rats. Okay. But there was further research. There was further research that said confident people are more attractive. So if A equals B, B equals C, going back to our high school algebra, confident people are more successful.
Algebra. Yeah, and I completely agree with that. There is something to be said for, and attractiveness is relative, right? But there is this thing. I was just in the train station at Trenton, taking the Amtrak to New York yesterday, and I saw Men's Health magazine, and there is, and I'm going to butcher his name, but there is a Middle Eastern comic, Kumail, something or another. And it was like super skinny, just very typical, body for a young male, and then got like buff and like he's on the front cover like this, and he went from, and he always played like the nerdy characters and always sort of the nerdy comic, and there was something so just undeniably confident about how he held himself and whatnot. And I would not say, from my perspective, I don't know him, this is just my opinion, he's not a traditionally attractive person from my perspective. However, there was something where I was like, yeah, I get it. And it was just that confidence. And if you look at the word confidence, the English root word is confide, which means to trust. And so when we don't have self-confidence, it just means we don't trust ourselves. And so the challenge then becomes that seesaw or teeter-totter of like, oh my goodness, most people fail and they learn not to trust themselves because of the failures, because of the things that happen. But with conversations like this, with the wonderful things that the two of you do here, that Raquel has done, and shown that, like, yes, like I love Raquel has these posts that she puts up where it's just like my most embarrassing moment or like this horrible thing that happened to me. And it is so refreshing in a world of, and especially with the testimony we heard yesterday about Facebook and Instagram and how we live in a world of body comparison, lifestyle comparison, all these comparisons, how when someone is willing to say, this is me, warts and all, right? It gives us permission to be like, oh, that happened to me too. Oh, look, this person is successful and yet they still are human. Maybe my humanity also can be the pathway to my success too.
Yeah, I think authenticity is a huge, huge thing nowadays. People are looking for exactly like Raquel's, whatever you're doing, if you're flubbing up and doing things, people love that stuff. I tell Scott, if we make a mistake, that's the best thing ever. People love those things because they say, wow, even people that are doing that currently are making mistakes. When I first learned live streaming, some of the people like Russ Johns, Gabe Leal, some of the people I was watching that I learned from initially, they would mess up all the time. And I'd go, yes, I feel so much better. I feel more confident now because they are real too. And I think, that's the whole thing about failing forward, Justin, is that we are learning. And Raquel, you alluded to that. We are learning every day through everything we do, every experience, whether we are succeeding or failing, and seeing somebody like you, Justin, who's had a lot of success, but you say, hey, I have struggles. I have things that I have to improve on and deal with. There's big holes in my life that I need to be better at. And people are like, wow, that's really, that encourages me. That makes me more confident.
Absolutely. And I say this to my students all the time. It's like anybody who you can think of, the one name people in any industry, have built their success on the back of massive failure. Think about it. Anybody. And I love the two examples that I love to use is Thomas Edison, right? Thomas Edison, it took him famously 10,000 or so tries to create the light bulb, right? And he geniusly, as genius he was, said, his remark was, let's say it was 10,000. His remark was, you know what? I learned 9,999 ways how not to make the light bulb. It just took that one, and then he revolutionized the world. Walt Disney went to over 47 different banks with this dumb drawing of a mouse on a boat. He's like, it's Steamboat Willie. And everybody was like, this is stupid. This is not going to work. And then on that 48th or 49th or 50th try, somebody was just like, here, kid, take $100 because it was, that time in history when that actually meant something. And he created Steamboat Willie. And now we have Disney, right? And so the failures, if you see them as a part of the process and not the destination, can be the greatest things that occur to you.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that people lose track of that sometimes. Raquel, you have, people think that you are so famous and so successful. And I watched your video last night.
In my PJs.
Yeah, in your PJs without your makeup on. I mean, you said that. I mean, you can't really tell. Just thought I'd let you know. But anyway, but it was interesting. I mean, in a good way. I meant that in a good way. But it's interesting how people have a perception based on you being on the screen, just like Justin, a perception. So now you are given a little reality like, hey, I've got to make some adjustments and changes in my life because I need to move forward and there's things I got to do.
Yeah. And I try to be transparent about it because I don't want people thinking that just because I have a presence on LinkedIn and I have followers that equates to money. It doesn't, because then that just perpetuates the whole thing of like, let me be an influencer so that I can make money and then kind of, not get a job because they think that that's how they're going to be able to survive. And it's like, no, it's really not that easy to be able to put yourself out there and think that people are going to pay you for it. I mean, so I want to be very, very real about that. I am broke, people. Like I legit, like I'm at that point where last week I woke up and had a panic attack because I was like, I've run out of money. Like this is it. Like I haven't been able to monetize any of this. And yes, I will hold accountability for it as well because, and Justin and I have had a conversation about this where the business part of it, the policy procedures, the strategies, all that, I suck at that. And I didn't have anyone to really help me with that. So obviously like it just didn't work. and that's okay, because once again, like, I will hold accountability for it. Like, I didn't know what I was doing.
And I love what, Justin, you were talking about with comparison, because if we live a life where we're comparing ourselves, you will always lose. That is a no-win game, because you either feel bad about yourself because you're saying, oh, I'm not as good as that person, whatever the criteria is, or you're only elevating yourself because you're stepping on someone else. There's no way to win if you're living a life of comparison.
Yeah. But like Raquel has done, like, you want to compare. It's like Raquel was saying, hey, this is who I am. This is what I got. I mean, just the fact that you, Raquel, just said, hey, I had a panic attack last week because money ran out. I mean, like, that is beautiful. That's why people love you. That's why people follow you. That's why, like, you and I get along so well. It's just like, we don't have to be anybody other than who we are in the conversations that we have. And like, I think that what you're doing, Raquel, in terms of just being like, hey, here's my journey, is so beautiful, because it gives people permission to also be like, hey, instead of going and in their social circles and putting up the filtered picture, putting up the picture of just like, again, my hair is already
my sweaty armpit that my son literally was like, what the F is this, Mom, on Instagram? Like, and my kids, they were hilarious. They're like, Mom, everyone and their mother, all their friends texted the screenshot. Like, what is your mom doing? And I'm like, has no one ever seen a sweaty armpit? Like, I was dancing. I had a gray dress on, which was a bad mistake. Next time, wear black. And I had a friend that was like, dude, what the heck? And he like took a picture. That was from 2008. And one of my best friends from high school has it as his contact picture of me. So every time I call for text, it's just my sweaty armpit. But it's like, it amazes me. I was telling someone yesterday, like, the fact that it made such a to-do, like, everyone's like, oh, your mom posted that. I was like, that is really sad that's like what everybody's talking about right now, is that I had the audacity to post a picture of my sweaty armpit. I was like, we all have sweaty armpits, people. Like, but it's funny how that was like such, that was the highlight of everybody's day, was my armpit.
Well, what Justin said was exactly right. You give people permission to be real, because, it is all about, at the end of the day, we're all people and we all have challenges and we all struggle through things. I am a super upbeat, positive guy, but even I occasionally have panic attacks. We all do. You get in a moment, you're like, oh no, especially, well, anybody who is an entrepreneur or a business person, if you say you never have panic attacks, you're lying.
Yeah.
Because
we say that you are not a true entrepreneur if you don't feel like throwing up at least once a day.
Exactly. And my biggest fear, Raquel, I'm with you. My biggest fear has always been money. Being a guy and always want to provide, and going from corporate America and always working for people to my own business. It's a tough transition. And so you have those struggles. And honestly, when I made some changes in the last 6 months, I was blessed by God to put together a couple good relationships that helped me financially. But I just told the people that I work with, hey, I really need to drive some more revenue, and this is what I can do for you. Let's put it together. And they were like, right on, let's do it. You have to find a way to get those things working in your business, in your life. And so that's what I love about this. And we go back to attractiveness. Of course, we're all attractive people because we have good personalities, and that's really what makes people attractive. We love everybody. Yes. But it's, I appreciate all of you guys. I wish we could talk forever, but I always have to be the bad guy.
And I am so grateful that we've got this good host, bad
Justin
host thing going on.
So Justin's like, thank God.
I'm home. I don't have anything to do till later tonight other than wrangle some children at the moment. Woo.
Well, hey, I was going to say, Justin, we're going to give you the last word first, you and then Raquel, and then your contact information. But before I do that, I want to say what I really enjoyed on our last conversation was how genuine and just what a wonderful person you were, and how much I appreciated you talking about your kids, talking about life. you know, it's wonderful to meet people like you. And what I mean by that is people that have had a lot of success that everybody's holding up on a pedestal, but you are saying, dude, I'm just regular guy like everybody else. And I don't know if you guys know the author Bob Goff. Yeah, you have sweaty armpits. We all have sweaty. I'm wearing black though. But I don't know if you guys know the author Bob Goff, but he's a very very well-known, you know, New York Times best-selling author, and he writes great books like Love Does. Anyway, he puts his cell number in the back of the book and actually answers his phone. And I mean, this guy sells millions of books. And I called him because I had a real reason to call him, and he answered the phone. He goes, "Hey, Russ." I go, "Hey, how's it going, Bob?" I mean, it was, and I love people like that. And that's what I thought about you, Justin. That's what I thought about you. And I appreciate you. So last word and contact information. You're up.
So my number is, no, I'm just kidding.
I was grooming you.
Your number.
The first date.
Come on.
Five.
Number.
It's the first date. Let's not get married on the first date. So, yeah, I love this conversation. I always love the chance to be able to see Raquel. Thank you very much, Russ, Scott, for inviting me on. And yeah, confidence, you know, when it comes to confidence, the last thing I'll say about it is that there are a lot of myths. People think you need to have years of experience doing something. People think you need to have letters behind your name on a piece of paper you can put up on the wall, which is great, nothing wrong with it. And some people even think that maybe you're just born with it or you're not born with it. But confidence is a skill, just like riding a bike or chewing gum without swallowing it, or even, you know, doing this thing. I mean, it is a skill that can be learned by anyone. And as I said before, it comes down to the question of trust. And will I use the experiences that happen in my life to build trust with myself, whether it's in my body, whether it's in my spirituality, and whether it's in my relationships or in my business, or will I use the experiences of life to break the trust with myself? And the last thing that I want to say is something that Russ mentioned. You know, Russ said, you know, I've been blessed by God to have a few relationships, and you know, a lot of people will say, you know, I hope God, they'll hope God blesses them, or they'll hope whatever their spiritual belief is that they're blessed. But the fact that you are here today with eyes that work for those who are not visually impaired as a part of this, I don't mean to be ableist, but the fact that you are here and breathing, let's just say at the very least, means that you are blessed. And something that Russ said that I think is so important and vital is that he said to his people that he was working with, he said, I need to generate income. And he asked for it. And that's the key. It's the secret sauce, right? I am comfortable with saying God. And so I will say that for me, when I stop in my panic, as we talked about, when I stop in that place of discomfort, when I stop in that place of lack of confidence, and I surrender and I ask for what it is that I need, and then I listen for the answer, or watch for the people that are brought into my life, the experiences that are, but even the negative ones, the failures that are brought into my life. Because the thing is that when we ask, and again, it's comfortable for me to say God, when we ask God for more, oftentimes he will send us experiences that test us to see if we are able to handle it, right?
That's right.
So that's when we get into this place of failure. It's like, oh, you know, I keep praying over this and it just more and more challenges come my way. And that's a good thing, but only if you understand the formula, only if you understand that it's like, okay, you want more? Fine. If you want more, we have to make sure that your foundation is able to handle it, or else you're going to build a building that's going to fall over.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yep.
So
Yep.
That being said, with confidence, it's all about taking those experiences to either, and every day, learn that we can learn to trust ourselves with the things that happen in our lives and the experiences and people that come into our lives, or we can learn to not trust ourselves. And that's the choice That's the choice that we face every single day. And so thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. And so one last thing, what is the best contact? Not your cell number, obviously, but what is the best contact information?
Pretty much over all them. I can't leave any context. So it's just at Justin Guarani, pretty much on all the socials. If you can't spell Guarani, just Google or Yahoo, the guy from American Idol with the hair. I'll come up. One of 2 or 3 people will come up.
And Russ will not come up in that search.
No, I'm out of that one. Yes. Well, and I think we also have your LinkedIn information and stuff on the show notes, so we'll be good with that. So thanks so much, Justin. Raquel, tell us last word. And
I'm not following that. Are you?
Oh, come on, you can do it.
Oh, come on.
I saved the best for last.
Seriously, no, that was awesome. And you can find me at Raquel Borras across the socials too. So there.
Beautiful. Life is good.
And I don't have Facebook, so my world did not end yesterday.
Yeah, that was very, very interesting.
I was like, what? People's life didn't just go on as usual? Apparently not.
Raquel,
Yeah.
you do not have Facebook. You're going to be investigated by the House Subcommittee on Un-American Activities.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm trying to be more intentional about where I spend my time and my energy and the people I surround myself with. And Facebook was just not conducive to my mental health, so I got rid of it.
Well, I think
part of the discussion yesterday.
The only reason that I am on there half the time is posting things regarding things like this. And the only reason I knew anything was going on is because I posted a show and it wouldn't post on Facebook. That was the only reason I had any idea what was going on. So yeah, it's, we got to be definitely intentional, thoughtful about how we spend our lives and how we spend our time. We are all blessed by God with time to do positive things for others, to give, to just serve people. And I just appreciate all that you two do. I can't even begin to tell you how much I appreciate you both. Raquel, you and I have been friends now for quite a while. Justin, man, I am a lifetime connector. I appreciate you so much. And I want to stay connected, and I consider you a friend already. And I thank you.
And just stay tuned. Justin and I are actually going to be in the same place soon.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Woo, very exciting.
Universe, prepare to be dented.
Anyway. Well, listen, I'm going to send you two to the green room. If you hang on just for a second, we'll wrap things up. Thanks again. Yeah. See you in just a minute.
See you.
Hey.
Always agree. Hey, Russ, I'm going to read this little thing. This is not something that we normally do, but this is actually on the wall of my friend David Osk in his office. I was just visiting him, and it's a speech, part of a speech that Teddy Roosevelt gave. He said, "It's not the critic who counts." And please remember when he wrote this, and I would rewrite this in gender neutral, but it's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error when shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end triumph of high achievement, or who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with the cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. So there you go.
That's beautiful, because it's all about effort, trying, and being able to overcome when we fail. And I know that, sometimes we really put ourselves out there and we have really big fails. And other times we really put ourselves out there, we have big successes. And I know that all four of us.
Put yourself out there.
Definitely. So, hey, I want to wrap things up and remind everybody, we are here every Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, with awesome guests like Raquel and Justin. Have so much fun. We have a great time, and occasionally Kermit even drops in. Gotta love it. And we thank Raquel for that. We're going to actually have Raquel start sending us more of those kind of things so we can include those in the show. But anyway, no, thank you so much, Scott. You're such a blessing to me. Such a good friend.
You're a great friend, Russ. Thanks. Every conversation with you is just such a beautiful thing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm blushing. Okay. Well, with that, don't forget that right after this, Raquel's on the Tim and Jim show. And at 10, I'm on Be Strong 99 with Usama out of Cyprus. A great individual. And noon today, Russ Reels live with 2 great authors. So join in today. Love having you all here. Thank you. Until we see you again, have a great day and a great life.
And enjoy the experience.